Let the Devil has been a song I have been working on for, let's say, the past 2 months. I started working on it at the beginning of February, and I just recently finished the project. That's maybe around the end of March. So it took me almost 2 months. By the time you're watching this, the song might be out on YouTube and hopefully all the other streaming platforms too. I have given it to my distributor. If the track does not face any copyright issues, then you might be able to stream it on all other platforms too, Spotify, Apple Music, you name it, everywhere else. But it must be out there on YouTube by the time you're watching this. Thing is, this track, it's really close to my heart. I've been having these thoughts in my head, to make something unique, to make something that I don't really, I'm not used to making. I wanted to get out of my comfort zone a little bit, and this was the perfect track for that. I mean, damn, Let the Devil was completely out of my comfort zone in all aspects, you can say. This is the first track where I used my own production. I used a beat pattern which I was not familiar with at all. I'm used to, let's say, drill or boom bap, even trap might do. Break beat or amen breaks are not really, something I'm used to. Then the different type of rhyme scheme I used to portray the devil, and the different rhyme scheme I used to portray the angel in this case, in the track, that too was new for me, completely new for me. In many ways, the track was wonderfully uncomfortable. Uh, the song revolves around the devils and angels of the society. Society divides people on the basis of good or bad, but thing is, the definition of good and bad here, it keeps changing. It's not, universal. The basis of how good or bad you are, it's not objective. It changes with time, let's say, with cultures, with regions, with different ideologies that each of us as individuals carry in our minds. I think, at least according to me, society does not understand the difference between disagreement and disrespect. Both are different things, let me tell you. I can disagree with your opinion, but I can still respect it. You see, it might not apply to my personal principles, my personal ideologies, but I might still respect it. Thing is, society or in general, most people never do this, especially in our country, and I think that's the reason behind most of the clashes we have in here. On what grounds have you really, set apart both the good and the bad? On what grounds have you given angels their halos and the devils their horns? That's why I said those lines.
Who decides and I'm some man, or who defines the horns and halos? And if you gave me the former tango, angels listen up.
By saying that, if you gave me the former, thank God, I refer to myself as a devil, which is a role the society gave me. I never asked for it. Society gave it to me because of what I am as a person. But yeah, the first verse mostly covers that terrain. Like, I start questioning the society. I tell you why I hate it, why I cut off from it. You see, just because the majority believes in something doesn't mean that it's right, you know. And that's why in the hook I use these 4 bars.
Let the devil sing for you. Let the devil dance for you. Throw those halos away. Let me sing for you.
Singing and dancing is a popular way of communication among us humans. Now, if you let the devil sing and dance for you, you are in a way listening to it. So I'm just telling people, telling the so-called angels of this world to, just for a change, listen to what the devils have to say. Just listen to them. Let me sing for you. That's because, Again, I am the devil in this case, in this scenario. Let me sing for you. That's another way of, asserting my position as a devil in the society that I live in.
Me sing for you. I got a bond to pick on your thoughts on hip hop being toxic. You ought to stick to this RP. Me and even if you win for sure, bitch. No ASD.
Now, as verse 2 starts, I talk about how people judge the hip hop culture. I mean, it's not that elaborated, I would say. I agree on that. But I just wanted to, um, just put it over there, talk about it for a few bars. That's it. The way people take hip hop in general, misjudge it for something it is not. I think that's a really good example of how people try to judge something before trying to understand it. That's why I said those lines.
These landlubbers say they can't swim. And then blame the sea for its depth. And I bet that they never see the bigger picture for real. And
Why blame the ocean for its depth just because you cannot swim, just because you cannot understand it, just because you cannot see the bigger picture? I also did throw in a few, technical bars here and there, like you ought to stick to this OP, Nian, even if you win for sure, bitch. No ASD. ASD in this case refers to autistic spectral disorder, autism in this case. Uh, Now, ought to stick is a wordplay for autistic, and to establish that wordplay, I said no ASD.
your rights are wrong, so it makes sense to define some time that changes it, yes, Pass out you some present evils, I'm damn sure they're the same and equal. Now tell me.
The definition of right and wrong, again in this case, changes with time. Look how polygamy turned out to be. Look how sadi system is seen today. A lot of things we used to look up to, what our ancestors used to believe in, we have set up legalities against them in today's age. The definition of right and wrong changes with time, I believe. It's not something we had to believe in. It's a fact. It's a universal fact. History tells us about this.
I confess, let me in. Let me in, I confess. I confess, let me in. Let me in, I confess, I confess.
If you are familiar with Lucifer from the Bible, then you might be able to understand this part of the song a little bit better, I would say. For context, let's say the angel is kicked out of heaven because of whatever he has done wrong. Now, the angel starts out with a really humble, really calm voice, with a really humble tone of voice. And the whole verse covers the angel confessing his crimes, or confessing whatever he has done wrong.
I confess, I follow God religiously, yet I did evil things. Keeping my sins hidden behind belief systems to relieve myself of the misdeeds that I did then.
Now, that's a really common example of how a lot of people commit a particular crime and then think they can just make up for it by, let's say, doing something religious, going to temples and churches and mosques and, washing away our sins. That's what the angel usually does. At least the angel, in my perspective, the angelic character that I created as an artist. Still, the character specifically mentioned here, that's how he is.
I confess, my pride so high, my wings never keep me grounded, fly the skies. My halo shines so bright, its glow hides the haunts that I like to hide now.
Halos and wings are the most popular symbols of an angel, that represents an angel for its purity and, let's say, a quest for peace. In this case, I turn it around a little bit, as in, like, I show how the angel misuses these powers for its own selfish needs. My pride so high, my wings never keep me grounded, fly the skies. Grounded refers to humbleness. Now, these wings, they do not let the angel, be humble. So this highlights the pride the angel has inside him, deep down. Now, in the case of the halos, people forget to look past the light the halo gives off to see that the angel too has horns on his head. You know what I mean?
Step out of temples, mosques and churches, turn into rapists, monsters, burglars, terrorists on the run and rep in the name of God. I confess.
I believe that there is a consequence of following religion religiously, I would say. I don't think you should follow anything religiously, especially religion should not be followed religiously. I guess that's the main problem with our country in today's age and time. We are not progressing forward as a society because of this um, parasite. I'm not calling religion a parasite. Religion should be practiced, I believe. Thing is, when you follow something blindly, you stop having the ability to, think critically, to have your own thoughts. You cannot have opinions of your own. As the most religious of men have practiced their respective religions, and as they step out of their shrines, they just turn back into the horrible beings they are in reality.
I confess, within strange you lack the darkness. Indeed, wise beaters and drunkards become nice people and humble with advice, demeanor, abandon the confess.
The phrase I confess in this case is highlighted both sonically and even in terms of writing. I guess a repetition in a lot of cases stimulates the human brain to release dopamine. To make this part of the track a little bit more, catchy, I did it. I guess I confess in here is really important. But as the angel says, I confess in this point, at this point in the track, uh, his voice changes.
The confess, open the fucking door. Don't wanna turn the air blue, so open the fucking door, you slutty whore. What the fuck is your problem?
He began with with a really humble tone.
I confess, let me in, I confess, I confess.
As his patience ceases to exist, in progression with the track, in progression with the third verse, the true nature of the angel is revealed. As we see that he is not, in fact, a good person. He is not an angel, as we call him. He has not lived up to his namesake. We see him showing his true nature. He changes his voice. Now he says, "Open the fucking door." He starts cussing again. That's another contrast we see in the character. Don't wanna turn the air blue. So turning the air blue refers to using profanity or vulgar language. Now he says that he does not want to cuss, and yet again in the next line he does it. This shows the hypocrite that the angel is in reality. Along with that, as the third verse uh, almost comes to an end, the angel loses what little humility he had, what little goodness he had in him, and he talks about himself as perfect. He talks about himself as better than God, as better than the Creator himself.
I'm Lucifer, yeah, losing for none. Who getting past me? You be just nothing. Beautiful, handsome, you people trash. You little bastards couldn't imagine the level that I'm at. I'm perfect, benevolent, and I'm better than the Creator himself. Let me in, have the gates opened up, else I'd rather tear up instead.
And the third verse ends with the angel talking about tearing up the gates of heaven. So yeah, that's where the song comes to an end. I think it's the longest project I ever worked on. At least the longest project I ever released. After a break of almost 2 years, this one was a huge leap for me as an artist and also as a person, I would say. The journey was good. It was fascinating. It was uncomfortable in a lot of ways. It was exhausting, beautifully exhausting, I would say. It trained the fuck out of me at times. It got to my head. I don't know if the song is going to perform well or not. Maybe not. Maybe yes, but I don't care. I made a really good song. I know that. Still, I'm grateful to a lot of people who supported me personally. A lot of friends who gave me a push here and there whenever I felt down along the way. Yeah, so I might, start doing a little bit of this, um, from time to time with each song I release. Maybe to let the audience know what goes to my mind when I make these things, when I write them, when I make songs in general. Uh, yeah, that's it for the time being. Peace out.